Hey guys, it is NCS Fan 001 here for another one of those weekly trophy list updates. Today's date is Monday, June 20th, 2022. So this will have covered the week of June 13th through the 19th of 2022. I would say that this was a reasonably productive week. I didn't get to play as much as I was kind of hoping to because I had family visiting for Father's Day. But I did make progress in a total of 3 games, with both versions of Horizon, of course, being on here, and LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at Horizon Forbidden West. So I have finished off the 100% this past week. I had already done the New Game Plus Ultra Hard, and I'll mention it again. I didn't think it was all that bad. Like, honestly, it wasn't terribly difficult. If you bring in the correct equipment, which would include, like, the Oseram Artificer outfit fully upgraded, and then, you know, a few weapons that you like, the Wings of the Ten Blast Sling and the Sun Scourge Bow, and whatever spike thrower I had that was really good. It was called... I can't remember exactly what it was called. I know that I talked about it in the last video, though. So, if you have the right gear, it's not terrible as long as you just rush through on Ultra Hard. It's going to make your life a lot easier doing it that way. Now, as for this trophy, where you have to obtain all the New Game Plus rewards, there are 17 of them. There are 8 weapons. There are, I want to say, 4 dyes and 5 face paints. And to get all of them, you will need a grand total of 125 Champions tokens. You'll get Champions tokens from pretty much every mission you complete. Every story mission will give you 2, so you will earn a total of 30 just by beating the main story on your New Game Plus Ultra Hard playthrough. And for the remaining 95, you can farm them out however you wish. You can take tall necks for 2 apiece. I want to say the gauntlet runs give you 2 apiece, and the first couple of those are real easy. A number of the errands and side quests are pretty easy. And this is more talking about if you go back and do it on another playthrough on story difficulty. What I would recommend doing is, once you have completed the main story on Ultra Hard during your New Game Plus, take your Sunwing around and complete a few of the early side quests and errands that are easier, as well as taking all the tall necks and get a few of the relic ruins as well because they don't involve fighting enemies. I would say skip out on the cauldrons and like the arena and the hunting grounds, but if you do pretty much everything else, if you do the relic ruins, maybe a couple of the races, and a few of the early side missions, you'll get quite a few extra tokens just from doing that. Then what you want to do is go back to the base and start another New Game Plus, because it will carry over anything that you've unlocked from your New Game Plus playthrough, including all of these new weapons, dyes, and face paints. It will carry those over as well as any Champions tokens you have left over. So I would highly recommend doing it this way so that you can then play on story mode and much more easily complete everything on that difficulty, because on story pretty much everything dies in like 1 or 2 hits. It's hilarious how much easier it is. Now, I will say as one other thing, when it comes to auto-popping this trophy list, be very cautious about the New Game Plus auto-popping. The base game completely auto-pops just fine. I didn't run into any problems with the base game auto-popping. This DLC, though, did not auto-pop just by loading my most recent save from the PS4 version. So here's what I would recommend doing to guarantee that everything auto-pops correctly. And I can't remember if I might have mentioned this in the last video or not, but if I didn't, I will go ahead and say it here again. What you want to do is make a save at a campfire as soon as you have finished the New Game Plus Ultra Hard story. And then make your save at the campfire a manual save, then quit out of the game, and immediately load up the PS5 version and load that most recent save, and that will auto-pop these 2 trophies. I recommend doing that just so you don't have to risk playing through it another time on Ultra Hard on the PS5. So I definitely recommend that. As for the New Game Plus Rewards trophy, you're going to want to purchase 16 of the 17 items on the PS4. Then you're going to want to get enough Champions tokens to buy the last item. Then, once again, make a manual save at a campfire. purchase the last item on PS4, so the trophy pops on PS4, then load that save on PS5 and purchase the last item on PS5, and that will guarantee that all of these trophies unlock for you. So just keep that in mind if you're doing, an ultra hard, if you don't want to have to do another ultra hard playthrough on the PS5 just in case it decides not to auto pop for you. So do keep all of that in mind if you are going to auto pop anything with this trophy list, that it can be potentially problematic. Speaking of auto popping, the Resident Evil 2, 3, and 7 PS5 versions have just come out, and I've heard mixed things about the auto popping for those games. Like, from what I've heard, Resident Evil 3 auto pops no problem whatsoever as long as you have the save files. And from what I've heard, Resident Evil 2, the Platinum fully auto pops no problem, but some people reported having issues with the DLC, which wouldn't be that big a deal except for that very last DLC level you have to do, the one where you're inside of the gas station, you have to survive like 100 enemies with really limited supplies. I need to look into all this and make sure that it'll correctly auto pop, because I did have the digital version of Resident Evil 2 on PS4, so I can go ahead and auto pop that. I would need to rent a PS5 version of it or buy a PS5 version of it of Resident Evil 3 specifically, to be able to auto pop that version. And then with Resident Evil 7, apparently some of the trophies auto pop, but not all of them, and it makes no sense as to which ones actually do. I wouldn't have a problem redoing all the stuff for the Platinum trophy, because the Platinum, it is one of the tougher Platinums in the numbered Resident Evil franchise, but it's still not really that bad. But it's that DLC that worries me the most, because from what I've heard, I think that 21 Survival Plus does auto-pop, which is good, because that is probably the second most obnoxious trophy in the game. And I don't know if a lot of stuff pops for End of Zoe or Not a Hero, but neither of those are overly challenging. But it's mainly that Banned Footage Volume 1, that Ethan Must Die mode. I never want to do that again, and from what I've heard, it does not pop. So if any of that's true, if you guys want to confirm that for me, if you know for a fact, definitely let me know. But at some point, I probably will auto-pop both Resident Evil 2 and 3, just as long as all the stuff for Resident Evil 2 works correctly. So yeah, that's my current plan for those games. And of course, they announced that Resident Evil 8 is getting a new DLC sometime, I want to say in October. So I guess that's kind of exciting, because I still need to do at least one version of Village at some point. Though I'm definitely a little bit nervous, because I think they said the DLC is going to add in new characters for the Mercenaries mode, which could very much mean, new trophies, and that was apparently by far the hardest part of that Platinum. So yeah, we will see about that, though, when that DLC releases. I'll see what the trophies look like for it. Who knows, they might actually make some of the mercenary stuff easier, because I don't always like frustrating things that take me a long time to get through. Anyway, the main game I was working on this week, aside from Horizon, was of course LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, in which I obtained the Platinum Trophy on a live stream on Sunday, actually. So, did a, early afternoon live stream on Sunday to obtain the Platinum. So, this Platinum Trophy, I would actually argue that it's one of the easier LEGO games. Even by LEGO standards, the game's pretty easy in terms of its trophies and its game design. The problem is the amount of time that the game takes, because this is a 70 to 80 hour Platinum. It is a very time-consuming one. It's by far the longest LEGO game, by 20 hours more than the closest one to it. Which is the main reason why I don't plan to do the PS4 version, along with the fact that the PS4 version is almost certainly going to be a lot buggier. And while going for this Platinum, I didn't really experience any major bugs or glitches. There were a few times where I'd try to travel somewhere and the game would sort of soft lock itself or freeze up on a screen. It crashed a couple times. But I never ran into anything, game-breaking or seriously problematic that would have affected the Platinum Trophy. But, I really didn't touch the game, because, let's see, I think I earned a couple trophies right when the game came out. Yeah, so I earned a couple of trophies right when the game came out, but then stopped playing it after that because I didn't want to risk things breaking on me. So I let them fix any potential issues and then didn't run into any major problems. So I would definitely recommend, you may want to wait even just a little bit longer, just in case something else comes up, but I didn't run into any problems. So for the Platinum Trophy, you're going to get 10 trophies here just for completing all 45 story levels. The story levels in this game are generally rather short, like a lot of them are well under 10 minutes. So it plays a little more like a Vita game with that, in that a lot of the levels are really short, but there's a lot of them. Additionally, there is a lot of stuff to do between levels. Like, pretty much between every level, you're going to be doing several sort of mini side quests along the way. So there's usually quite a bit of stuff to do between levels. So you certainly get what you pay for with the amount of gameplay. And I like this game design. I think it was done very well, and I think that, at least I hope, that they'll continue to do more LEGO games this way. Like, me and some other people have talked on, like, streams, and me and Ghost have talked about, like, what could they do in the future for LEGO games in terms of, like, big compilation ones. We mentioned, like, a whole Marvel Cinematic Universe thing through the whole Infinity War saga, or the Endgame saga, the first, 4 phases or whatever it is now, something like that. Or perhaps, a whole collection for Jurassic Park with all 6 movies at some point, now that Dominion came out. They could do something for... what are some other ones out there? Like, they could potentially... I guess they could potentially do an... Well, no, they wouldn't do an Indiana Jones compilation, because there hasn't been a new movie in, like, 12, 13 years or something for that. I know that I'm blanking out on a couple others they could do, but there are definitely some others that they could do. Oh, Harry Potter. Like, do all 8 movies plus the Fantastic Beasts stuff, if the other 2 Fantastic Beasts movies ever get made. So you could easily make more compilation games like this. Just, it is so many collectibles that it's going to take quite a while to get the Platinum Trophy in any future ones. So you have to complete all the events in the game, which is going to get you a big chunk of trophies. This basically means 100%ing each planet in the game, and that's going to involve finding large numbers of Kyber Brick collectibles, as well as a data card on each planet, plus a few other miscellaneous tasks and actual side quests that can take a little while and take you all over the different planets. And, for as long as this game is, I never felt like it was too long. Like, I actually was enjoying it enough compared to something like Lego Batman 3, where I'm not as interested in the source material, so the game felt like it dragged on absolutely forever. Whereas with this game, I am a really big Star Wars fan, so I didn't really mind all of the extra stuff. It is a little bit excessive at times, but it didn't feel as overwhelming or as boring or as long as some of the other LEGO games have. So, aside from completing all of the events in the game, you have to achieve True Jedi on every level, which is very easy once you get a stud multiplier. You have to complete all the level challenges. There are 3 on each level for a total of like 135. And a lot of them are easy, but a few of them will probably require a guide because they can be a little finicky. A few of them can only be done in story, it seems like, for some reason. Then you have to find all of the mini kits. There are 5 of those in each level for a grand total of, I think that's 225 or something. So it's not particularly hard, once again, because you can follow a guide, and you also have collectible detectors in the game. You have to fully upgrade all character classes, which requires you to find a large chunk of the game's Kyber bricks to be able to purchase everything. I think you need about 1,100 to 1,150 of the bricks to be able to purchase everything. You don't need all 1,200 of them. Because initially there were 1,166, then they added in a few more ships for you to take over, and that boosted it up to 1,200 exactly. You have to collect all the data cards. There's like 1 per planet. There's 19 total. You have to collect 1,000 of the game's 1,200 Kyber bricks. So again, you don't need to collect all of them, though you pretty much will want to go ahead and collect all of them just for... I mean, I don't think it's actually required for the events trophy to unlock, to get every single Kyber brick, but you might as well just get it up to 100% because that makes sure that you will unlock everything else. Get all the characters. There's 380 of those. Many of them unlock through the story. Others you have to purchase after finishing side missions. All the events in the galaxy. This is just a cumulative trophy for all those bronze ones above. You have to complete all the races in the game, which is not particularly hard because that's going to be done along the way with completing all the events. The Galaxy Challenges, there are 10 of these. They're all generally a little bit more extensive, usually requiring you to find stuff on like every planet or something. That's how some of them are. They're not overly difficult. You can always look at a guide for any of them if you get stuck somewhere. This was the last trophy I got. I would have gotten it done faster, but hilariously enough, hopefully when that video eventually comes out of this Platinum Trophy, it was hilarious because Count Dooku, like, just started killing everything. My AI character just started killing everything for, like, no reason. And it kind of screwed it up to where I had to leave the planet and come back. It was kind of hilarious, actually. Ride all 10 characters throughout the galaxy. Well, creatures throughout the galaxy. Easy with a guide. 10 billion studs is super easy once you get the multipliers. I ended with about 25 billion. Then you have to destroy 100 TIE fighters. This should come naturally while doing everything else in the game. The 3 enemies with a single explosion will probably come naturally at some point. If not, I'm sure that there's a guide to find a certain place to do it. Shoot helmets off of 50 enemies is pretty difficult to miss as long as you are aiming at the head whenever you have a blaster character. You have to create 25 disguises while playing as a hero. This one's a little bit grindy because the disguises aren't used that often, but it's still fairly easy to do. Just find the 3 pieces and put them on any level where it's available. A combat multiplier of 30 is pretty much unmissable during some of the lightsaber battles in the game. The Jawa's faulty droid missions are part of the events for Tatooine. The Gaunt droid escorts are all over the galaxy. There's like 10 of them that you have to complete, but they're all part of events. And you have to complete a flight level without dying, which is very easy, though there is no invincibility brick in this game, so keep that in mind. It's one of the only LEGO games I can think of that doesn't have an invincibility brick. So just, yeah, keep that in mind. So, let's go ahead and sync up our trophies. So, level 783, 81%, 23,469 total trophies, 622 platinums, 3,910 golds, 6,245 silvers, 12,692 bronzes. Plans for the upcoming week. I suspect I'll auto-pop at least one platinum this week, at least, one of the Resident Evils, as well as Jedi Fallen Order, because I was able to pick that up for like $9 downloaded, so pretty good price on that, so definitely one that I will probably do in the near future. So right now it mostly comes down to my plans for the long term, because I made really good progress this week with finishing off 3 of my 14 incomplete games. I now only have 11 incompletes left, and 2 of them are Homefront and Hasbro Family Game Night that I can't do anything else on. So really only 9 games left to clean up that have trophies in them, which is pretty crazy to think of. It feels like we're getting kind of closer to the end, and especially if I were to give up on the Division, that would mean only 8 more things to worry about. But right now, June plans are still maybe touch on the Division. How many times have I mentioned that now? Just, take a drink for every time I mention it or something. I don't know. That would probably kill you, so don't do that. But Ghost of Tsushima is going to be my main focus. I'm going to start working on Iki Island and possibly New Game Plus if I finish Iki Island this week. Plus, I think that me and Ghost and maybe other people are going to start on the multiplayer aspect of the game. Most of it's not too bad. It's just that raid that has me concerned. And I'll once again make the offer if anyone wants to carry me through the Division survival. I will gladly pay you money for doing that because I can't deal with it anymore, and I've mentioned it however many times for years now. So July plans are Black Ops 3 and GTA 5, at the very least the heists and the main Doomsday heist stuff, just not necessarily the Criminal Mastermind or Elite challenges yet, because I don't know if I will ever be good enough to do those. Then in August, The Division 2 and Dead Island Riptide. Neither of those games are currently on my list. September through December, COD Classic, Shadow of the Colossus, Uncharted 3's remaining trophies that you can do, Conan Exiles, Outer Worlds, and then several other random games, of course. As I've always mentioned, that's going to be a thing for the future. I really need to go ahead and do Ratchet and Clank sooner than later, just because, I know it's all single player, but it's a really good game that everyone loves. And it might be kind of fun to play, especially because it's only like a 10-hour platinum. I know it'd be fun to play, but it's only like a 10-hour platinum, so part of me wants to do that soon, but I think I want to focus on getting through Ghost of Tsushima and a couple of these other old games first. So yeah, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Please like, favorite, share, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell if you haven't already. Schedule should be pretty normalized this week, some normal videos, and hopefully a couple of streams this coming weekend. Though I don't really know when I'm going to stream. Maybe some Ghost of Tsushima. We'll have to see about that. So, yep, that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you here for the next one.